Imagine waking up one morning and everything has changed. What if the most powerful military machine in human history, the United States of America, went to war? Not a skirmish, not an airstrike. A real, sustained, all-out war for 6 months. What would happen to the world? And to you? Let's set the scenario. It's not science fiction. It's a thought experiment grounded in history and cold, hard facts. The United States enters a major armed conflict. Think in scale somewhere between the Korean War and World War II. A powerful adversary, a clear front, global stakes. Within the first 48 hours, the U.S. Department of Defense activates emergency war protocols. Congress debates. The president addresses the nation, and the world holds its breath. Because when America goes to war, really goes to war, nothing on earth stays the same. Within hours, the phones are ringing in every major capital on earth. NATO allies scramble to assess their obligations under Article 5. Germany, France, and the UK convene emergency summits. For some, it's a moment of solidarity. For others, a dangerous question. Do we follow Washington into this? China watches carefully. It does not want war with the US, but it doesn't want an emboldened America either. Beijing begins quietly repositioning naval assets. Diplomatic statements are measured but pointed. Russia sees opportunity. With US attention consumed elsewhere, it probes the edges of NATO's eastern flank. Cyber attacks tick upward. Propaganda machines go into overdrive. And smaller nations, they scramble for cover, picking sides, or desperately trying not to. The world hasn't polarized this fast since the Cold War. Day 1. Markets react before the first bomb drops. Oil spikes 40% in a single trading session. Supply chain routes that cross conflict zones go dark. Shipping insurance costs skyrocket overnight. Defense stocks surge. Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, Northrop Grumman. They become the hottest tickers on Wall Street. War is terrible for most people. It is historically very good for a very small number of industries. But for ordinary people, inflation bites, fuel gets expensive, goods from Asia slow to a trickle as trade routes are rerouted or disrupted. The US dollar paradoxically strengthens, a safe haven effect. But the global economy contracts sharply. The IMF issues an emergency warning. Words like recession and stagflation start appearing on front pages. And this is just month 1. Inside the United States, the transformation is staggering and fast. The Selective Service System is placed on high alert. Factories that once made cars begin making armored vehicles. Semiconductor plants prioritize military contracts. American workers take mandatory overtime. It's called a war economy, and America has done it before. During World War II, the US converted civilian manufacturing almost overnight. That industrial muscle is what won the war. Today, that muscle is rustier, but it still exists. At home, rationing discussions begin. Fuel allocations. Cybersecurity alerts warn citizens about foreign interference online. Schools hold crisis drills. National Guard units are federalized. The country is united, at least at first. But as weeks turn to months, protests grow. Debates rage. Social media becomes a battlefield of its own. War reveals a nation's character. And America, as always, is complicated. 6 months in. The guns, for now, go quiet. What does the world look like? The US military has demonstrated extraordinary capability, but at enormous cost. Thousands of soldiers are dead or wounded. Veterans return to a country still processing what happened. VA system is overwhelmed. Markets begin a slow, uncertain recovery. The dollar remains strong, but debt has ballooned. Congress debates a new budget that is almost entirely consumed by military and veteran spending. And on the world stage, the message has been sent, but so has a warning. America can still project power at an almost incomprehensible scale. That is both reassuring and terrifying, depending on where you're standing. History doesn't end. It just pauses and reloads. War is not an abstraction. It is decisions made by real people, with consequences felt by millions who had no say in those decisions. The United States has more military power than the next 10 nations combined. That is a fact. What it means, what it should mean, is a question that every generation has to answer for themselves. So here's what we want to know. If the USA went to war tomorrow, do you think the world would look the way we described? Or would it be something far stranger and far worse? Let us know in the comments. Share this with someone who loves history, politics, or just big questions. And if you want to go deeper, we'll see you in the next one.